Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Ridge will be Brooke idol in a dramatic deliverance while Grace makes a plea to John Finn. In Italy, Ridge just jumped into the water after witnessing Brooke in torture. Brooke fell off Nick's boat thanks to its steering troubles, so she'll be floundering to stay round when Ridge swims over to save her. Ridge will indeed manage to get to Brooke and drag her to safety. Brooke will get a surprise idol in the form of her partner, so she'll be swept up in this moment of gratefulness for Ridge. Nick may see for himself that Brooke and Ridge still have a strong connection. It'll be on full display right in front of Nick, who may eventually face Ridge's fury over the boat's problems and the peril he just put Brooke in. Finn will reel now that Grace has confessed to making up the brain cancer and faking Liam's opinion. Grace just admitted Finn's reservations were right, but she feels she was backed into an insolvable corner. Reese racked up some serious gambling debt. Grace was facing some scary pitfalls. These baddies meant business and knew where her daughters lived, so Grace was willing to do whatever it took to get the plutocrat by their deadline. After Grace explains many further details, she'll supplicate Finn to keep his mouth shut. Finn will face Grace's hopeless plea to bury this fiddle. And no way tell anyone differently about it. Grace will hope they can just move on, but Finn won't be willing to cover for her and will contend Liam must be told the verity. The same goes for Bill since he paid $1 million for a phenomenon surgery when Liam no way had excrescence at all. Grace will feel like her world is crashing down around her, but she'll have to surrender to Finn's demands and give Liam updates on some stunning news soon. Finn to be shocked by Grace's concession. Ridge saves Brooke after she falls off of Nick's boat. That would be Grace and Finn. The manly croaker has been suspicious of Liam's insolvable moment recovery. After looking at Liam's brain reviews, he also tried to look at the brain excrescence information in the medical records. The only problem is that Grace deleted all the records after Liam's original brain bleed. After some pushing, Grace eventually admits it. Liam's brain excrescence no way was. Grace says that Reese debts didn't stop when he went to captivity. Now, they're coming after her as well as her two daughters Paris and Zoe Buckingham. Grace will supplicate Finn to keep her secret. Still, the daily exercise clip shows that Finn drags Grace to Bill's house. Formerly there, Finn tries to force Grace into confessing to Liam and Hope. Brooke falls into the water. Lying dangerously on Nick's boat, Ridge tried to stop her. Once Nick noticed that Ridge was trying to get Brooke's attention, he started making dangerous turns. The thickets were also out, and they nearly crashed into another boat. Brooke ends up falling into the water and Ridge dives in to save her. Ridge jumped down some jewels toward the reinforcement, also dove headfirst in. I'm really surprised he didn't crack his head open, since it's shoal over there. In any case, Ridge swims over and gathers Brooke into his arms. It's anticipated that Ridge will admit that he still loves her and can't stop allowing about her. Still, will Brooke really take him back after everything that's happened? Ridge's passions might be one thing, but how will he break the news to Taylor? While Taylor might accept the stunner, she could also play dirty to get him back. Including faking a broken heart pattern relapse. Finn forces a concession out of Grace. Brooke falls into the water and needs saving. Eric continues telling Ridge about Nick's offer plans. The developer refuses to let Brooke marry that Joe. Ridge runs through the thoroughfares of Italy. Nick and Brooke are told that the steering on the boat is no good. Also, they've to stay for the rainfall to get better. Nick says the cook has commodity offal planned for them. They get on the boat. Ridge tries to call Brooke, but it goes to voicemail. The developer leaves a communication, saying there's commodity wrong with the boat. Brooke lies on the top of the motorboat as Nick spurts out. Soon, Nick realizes there are no thickets on the boat. Rather of advising Brooke, he sees Ridge and starts making wild turns, nearly crashing into another boat. When the boat makes a wild turn, Brooke screams as she falls into the water. Ridge hops on some jewels and dives into the water. Over at Bill's place, Hope fusses over Liam. They talk about Grace. Liam owes her his life, but she's also associated with his brain excrescence. They talk about Reese gambling debts and Beth's switcheroo. In Grace's office at the sanitarium, Finn rips into her. The manly croaker is starting to wonder if Liam was ever really sick at all. Grace denies it and comes up with defenses. Finn counters that it was precious, but was it really necessary? Grace attempts to bolt, but Finn stops her. She's been stressed to the maximum for months. The man continues that Liam's lacerations were incorrect, the speed of his recovery is scientifically insolvable, and now he learns about her $1 million payday. Grace heartbreaks and tells Finn that Reese's debt collectors are coming after her now. They hovered Zoe and Paris, they know where all three of them live. Grace verified Liam no way had a brain excrescence while Brooke had a scary water accident. After Eric advising about Nick brewing offer, Ridge refused to let Nick ruin Brooke's life and took off to stop the engagement. Ridge went searching for Brooke and eavesdropped Nick's name down on the jetties, where he learned Nick's boat had been taken out when the steering was no good. Nick and Brooke had a lovely Italian regale for two before they eventually had their boat lift. Brooke was on the reverse of the vessel as Ridge frenetically called and left a voicemail about commodity being wrong with Nick's boat. Nick plotted to steer as another boat rushed up beside them. Brooke went flying off Nick's boat as Ridge watched in the distance, so he incontinently dove in the water and swam toward her. At Spencer Mance, Liam teased Hope since she kept fussing over him and offering him effects like redundant robes. Liam assured Hope that he was good and ultimately opened up about the tale of two Buckinghams. It was hard for Liam to suppose about all the heartache Reese caused when he let them believe Beth was gone ever. Now Grace had saved Liam's life, or so he allowed. Hope conceded that Grace was a saint of a woman, so she agreed with Liam about how much they owed her. Finn spelled out all the suspicious aspects of this case, like the off-point surgery for way too important plutocrat and this new croaker he'd no way heard of. Finn also recalled how Grace was the bone who brought the excrescence news to him in the first place and how she was quick to take over when he tried to take Liam down to the neuro platoon. Finn suspected that all the reviews and substantiation were fake, so he wondered if this procedure with minuscule lacerations and a crazy fast recovery time was indeed necessary. Finn wondered if Liam indeed had a brain excrescence to begin with. Grace tried to keep up her innocent act, but she eventually broke down in gashes and confessed that Finn was right. Grace argued that she had no choice since the people Reese owed plutocrat to were hanging her. Grace claimed they knew where Peric and Zoe lived, so she was easily scarified for her daughter's safety. Since these people were intruding around and wanted the gambling debt paid by a certain deadline, Grace verified that she faked Liam's brain excrescence and gave him this phony opinion. As Finn stood there taking it all in, Grace blubbed angrily and tried to explain how hopeless she was. Grace will have further admissions. Ridge is intending to use what's described as a short trip to Italy for anything other than business. But a projected cataclysmal event will beget him to see Brooke in a renewed light. Despite the engagement ring that Taylor is wearing and a return of Ridge's despised family, Nick Brooke appears likely to reunite with Ridge. Brooke has constantly beaten Taylor, and perhaps that's the point this time around. Her fortune line might not be that at all. Lang's character could have been stating the verity, not her verity or Ridge's verity as an adulatory moral relativist would purport. It's fair to wonder if the better plot line would have been for Ridge and Taylor to marry and remain so for at least a time before he felt drawn back to Brooke. But Nick's back to serve as provocation for Ridge, with Kay's character realizing that he can't allow that trouble to block his path back to Brooke. In the water Brooke will take is eased by Nick's presence and Ridge's deliverance. Brooke naturally survives, and perhaps Nick will as well, though he'll need to be connected to another lady, conceivably his other ex-wife, Taylor, if so. Brooke's instinct is much further than bravado. Plus, she has the 8 previous marriages to support her belief that Ridge loves her further than Taylor or any other woman.